Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Friday the 17th of April.
Coming up on today's weekly review show.
We looked at the importance of women in economic empowerment.
We explored an app transforming the lives of women genocide survivors.
The national volleyball team is set for African Zone 5.
And we visited a sonic project in the making set to fill Rwanda with sound. Good morning and welcome to our weekly review show where we take you back to the best of the week here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. It's just gone 7 o'clock in the morning and my name is Regis Isheja.
And I'm Makeda Mahadio. Over the next hour, we'll be bringing you a review of the week's top stories, analysis, debate, and insights into the stories making headlines here in Rwanda and across the world. The Rise and Shine crew have throughout the week been diligently gathering everything you need to know about what's happening here in Rwanda and, of course, around the world.
Well, it's been a busy week for us here at the Rise and Shine headquarters. One of the most interesting stories that we covered this week was the role of women in fast-tracking the country's economy. The Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion has put forward a plan for women economic empowerment, and the results are plain to see. From Kigali, Huye, and Rubavu to rural Rwanda, women are the heart and soul of Rwanda's rebirth, and there are even greater things to come. Let's take a look back at Wednesday's report.
The energy and commitment levels we started with. Perhaps at even a personal basis, some of us may have experienced the excitement of starting something, but it's more demanding, yet even more important to keep the momentum going.
The Rwandan woman is one of the true success stories of our country, and our First Lady, Jeannette Kagame, couldn't embody that any better. Women economic empowerment is not a trendy topic here in Rwanda. You can see it and feel it with the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion doing all it can to help and inspire women to design their own future.
You know, when you talk about economic empowerment, we talk about holistic approaches that target women and younger girls. Here we make sure that these women can be able to design viable projects, these women can acquire loans, these women can participate in all economic activities of our country, ranging from infrastructure, ranging from businesses. They can go and register business in RDB. They can do everything, not only in Rwanda, but they can even cross borders and even be involved in the exportation and importation of every aspect of this country.
With the government putting a real emphasis on promoting families, the woman is at the epicenter of the progress.
As you are aware, our government of Rwanda believes in people to participate collectively. So we have to work with our mothers, our sisters, our aunts to empower our country.
What can women, whether in cities like Kigali or in rural Rwanda, truthfully accomplish these days?
For example, if you see now with the establishment of what we call cooperatives called the Murengi Circle, since they were established, now it is close to 2 million people. Globally, but we have 800 women being involved, and so far they have been able to secure a loan of more than 6 billion. I talk about women, this is a very good achievement. So we see that women are coming, they can now open accounts, not only accounts, but they can go above and even acquire loans. That's the only in the circle. But even go to other commercial banks, you see women are doing well. Go to RDB and see, women can now open accounts. Women can open businesses. They now have companies that you can compete, they can bid. So we can say that they are really achieving a lot, but you haven't reached where we want to be. We still target for more.
As we're commemorating the 21st anniversary of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion is also making sure widows of the genocide are not forgotten.
When you talk about genocide survivors, mostly when you trace right away from 1984, we see that this genocide affected mostly women. When we find many widows, they are vulnerable, and there are special programs that target these people. We make sure that we bring them inclusive approaches and mechanisms to make sure that they are also being included. Here, what we do, we make sure we bring them together. They form cooperatives. Then we identify their needs. Then we make sure that we do advocacy, not only advocacy, but we make all means to make sure that their needs are being met. So we make sure that we meet them at their point of need.
Now, what's the future looking like for the Rwandan woman?
We have very many projects in place that are targeting women, but specifically for women who are still vulnerable and women in rural areas. Here, for example, we have a big project that towards skills development for women. Secondly, business startup and entrepreneurship for women. And thirdly, we have another project that is targeting these women street vendors and hawkers, where we see it as a challenge to make sure that these women are brought together, they are given a startup, they are given favorable conditions to work from. So we are targeting all these projects to make sure that women well-being is being catered for in our country.
Of course, I could not resist the urge to ask Jean Bosco about what made him embrace such a noble cause.
As you are aware, our government of Rwanda believes in people to participate collectively. So we have to work with our mothers, our sisters, our aunts to empower our country.
The backbone of our society, indeed. Regis Isheja, Rise and Shine Rwanda. And joining us in studio now is Jean Bosco Murangira, Director of the Women Economic Empowerment Unit at the Ministry of Gender and Family Promotion. Good morning, Jean Bosco. So, you mentioned SACCOs, cooperatives. Tell us truly what's been going on. How much have you guys been empowering these women?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank you to welcome me in your Rise and Shine program. As you know, our government believes in putting in holistic approaches to empower our people, mostly the less privileged. And this is how we came up with this approach of Umurenje Sacco, which is proximity to people. As you are aware, each sector now has what we call cooperative Umurenje Sacco.
Right.
And this cooperative Umurenje Sacco is targeting those people who are less privileged to be attractive to commercial banks. So this is even how women, as a ministry, we see them coming in. They open accounts, they make groups, associations, village and saving associations, they graduate to cooperatives. So they even graduate and acquire loans. And we see it as a very attractive approach that is helping these less privileged people, and specifically women. So when we talk about Umurenje Sacco, this is what we mean, where these women is at their proximity and they can acquire what could be acquired in these formal banking institutions. So we are very proud of this initiative, and really our people are benefiting from this program.
Right now, there are so many moves being made to empower women across the board. But of course, you know, you all are making very many moves as well. Do you think that, because right now it already feels like the development is going very quickly, do you think that maybe the next generation, like our kids or our kids' kids, will be needing this amount of help? The women, of course, the girls.
You see, when you talk about development, it's a gradual process. You can't just wake up and you find everything is well. So we believe that the next generation will find the platform conducive and environment for them. So the next generation will not struggle like the one we are struggling with today. So we believe that the next generation will at least be reaching on a good ground, and we will find a favorable environment for them to step on and take on another step.
Now, you're in charge of the Economic Empowerment Unit at MIGEPROF. Now, how much can you say Imbuto Foundation has helped you? Because they're clearly, you know, the leaders out there helping. They've been, I would say, maybe some of the first, one of the first organization out there to help women, to empower women. Are you guys working together?
Very true. You see, this Imbuto Foundation, they also came as another helping arm to our ministry. For them, they have a very good approach where they don't even see people in isolation. They don't see children in isolation. They don't see women in isolation. They see them as people belonging to a family, in a society. So they come with this holistic approach that targets women, children in their families, societies. So this has a big impact on what they are doing. So we see them really as people who are helping us a lot in really empowering our families, not only children and women, but a society as a general.
So you focus on, of course, Imbuto focuses on women and girls, but is there a focus on the entire society in terms of how people should be viewing women rather than women trying to lift themselves up?
You see, currently, even the approach you have, when we talk about gender, we don't see gender, people try to misinterpret and they maybe assume that we talk about women and men. But this is seen as an inclusive approach where people can have equal opportunities at hand. Even this is the same thing I was talking about. We don't see people in isolation. We see them as a combination. How a children, a mother and a father can partner together towards development of their family, then society, and then the country at large.
Now, we're during the Kwibuka 21 period. Now, how have you, as MIGEPROF, been helping the widows of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi? We know this is a very critical time for them. This is a time where we really need to reflect on how much we've been there for them and have helped them. What are you guys doing at the moment?
Thank you very much. Right away, when you trace what took place in 1994, genocide against the Tutsi, really women were much affected because it left out many widows who were well off, but then they had to be vulnerable again. So we had to come with interventions and strategies that could make sure that these people can be well on track and can effectively participate, even they can be healed the wounds that they encountered. So what we do as a ministry, as you know, we put in place policies and mechanisms, but implementation is being done along with the country. So what we did, we have structures. We have what we call National Women Council that has structures right away from the central government to grassroots levels. So we make sure that these people mobilize these women and all strategic interventions that are in place to help genocide survivors of 1994 genocide. These become the first primary beneficiaries. Right at the moment now, as what I can tell you, we are working with all districts to remember women and children who were killed in 1994 genocide. So each district we are identifying a unique date and even giving specific interventions to meet their needs. So that's what we do every year, but not every year, but we keep on tracing to make sure that these people can be included in all aspects that we try to develop, make sure that they are included in the society.
So what are next steps? What plans are in the works right now?
Well, right at the moment, as I told you, we wrote to districts to make sure that they organize their community dates to remember women and children, and even to identify their needs, and even to bring on board partners to make sure that they can effectively contribute towards these needs.
For empowerment, what are you guys doing next?
So for empowerment, what we do, right now, we as a ministry, we believe that skills is the key to people's empowerment. So we have in place skills, what we call massive short-term trainings that target younger women and girls, where we bring people together. They acquire massive short-term trainings for a small period of time, ranging from 3 weeks to 6 months. So after acquiring a skill, this person can at least go to the bank and acquire a short-term loan and buy a toolkit. We even do advocacy. We make sure that they acquire a toolkit, right, of which can facilitate them to do what? To compete on the labor market. Secondly, after getting a skill, we believe you can go outside and you can be able to be included into the labor market.
Jean Bosco Murangela, it's been an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for coming and joining us.
Thank you.
That was really interesting.
It's a great chat we had yesterday with Jean Bosco. He's, you can tell that they're doing a great job. The day before yesterday, sorry. You can tell they're doing a great job at MIGEPROF. And, you know, the place of the woman in Rwanda, it's not just in big institutions, in leadership positions. You can tell that they're actually accomplishing a lot on their own, and then MIGEPROF is helping them as well.
And more to come, definitely.
Right.
Well, you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda, the review edition. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Connect to Lusaka 3 times a week starting 27th March. Enjoy comfort and safety at affordable fares to 17 other destinations across Africa and the Middle East.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
right, welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda, the review. Now, there were some big business stories in the news this week, from I&M announcing they will be going public to an app transforming the lives of women genocide survivors. Let's look back at the best of the week in business.
During the 1994 genocide, over 1 million Tutsi were killed. Among the survivors is a big number of women who lost their children, husbands, families, and friends, and had very little to survive on. Earlier this week, Fidelis met with an innovator who is determined to improve these women's living standards. Take a look.
There are still many cases of elderly women who are forced to live in very poor conditions, and among them are some who survived the 1994 genocide and have since had to do small jobs to afford the necessities like food, water, and shelter. It is for this reason that the Inchike app was created to change this situation, and in just a period of 1 year, they've been able to build some of these women homes, provided them with food as well as clean water. This year, the app, which runs for a period of 100 days, seeks to build more homes for these women, and with a contribution of as little as 100 francs, we Rwandans will now be able to save our own people one day at a time. Karangwa Fidelis, Rise and Shine Rwanda. And joining us now in studio is Aphrodis Mutangana, the co-initiator of Inchike app. Welcome, Aphrodis, to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, Inchike app is, from what you've explained to me, is basically for women who lost people in genocide and are basically survivors who are still living under poor conditions. So, why did you choose women? I mean, we see very many cases of people working with children and other people. So, why did you specifically decide to work with women?
Thank you. I decided to start Inchike initiative after visiting a lady called Karitasi. She's 85 years old now. She had 9 children, and 8 of them were killed, and the surviving one was raped and contracted HIV. In 2000, she passed away. When I visited her, I saw she's advanced in age, she cannot walk, and I decided to create something that can help those people, those elderly survivors of 94 genocide against Tutsi. So the reason why I'm focusing on helping elderly survivors, but also the other part of the fund we raise go to help students who dropped out school due to financial means.
So how does this app work exactly? Since I know you're supposed to launch it in a few days, but it's been working for a couple of months, actually since 2014. So how does it work for someone who wants to understand exactly what it is?
Yeah, we have 3 platforms. The first one is a USSD code where you take your phone, you dial *654#, and the app asks you to choose the language. After choosing the language, we ask you to subscribe. Then after subscribing, we ask you the amount you want to donate daily for 100 days of commemoration. The minimum is 50 Rwandan francs and the maximum is 100. The second platform is we have mobile money accounts. We have MTN mobile money, which is a normal number 078850 0122. Tigo Cash, you just dial *200 *1 *20,000#. With Airtel Money, you can go on, you can dial *182# and you follow instruction.
So
and we have the last one is a donation online where you visit our website www.inchike.rw and you can donate online. We have a PayPal account, so you can donate if you are not in Rwanda.
And since you started, how many women have you been able to help so far?
We started last year. As I said, it's a 100 days initiative. Last year we raised 1.7 million Rwandan francs. Last year we had objective of raising a cup of milk to an elderly survivor, and in the whole country we have 859. And the last year objective was to raise a cup of milk. So this year we decided to dream big. We want to build for them 20 houses, and every house will be hosting 8 people, 8 elderly survivors. So and which means we want to build 20 houses which we host 160 elder survivors of genocide.
Mm-hmm. So now that we know, you mentioned something about it running for 100 days only. So why 100 days? Why not have it run throughout the whole year? Is there a particular reason? And is it going to be different this year for someone who might not want to donate now, but might want to donate maybe in December or in November, not necessarily during this 100 days period?
Thank you. Last year it was our first time. We are trying to connect to see how technology can contribute. Mm-hmm. And this year it will continue. Yeah, it's a 100 days for commemoration. We'll be helping elderly survivors of genocide. Mm-hmm. And then after it will continue to help veterans. And that's the whole, it will be a national donation platform. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So now, the other thing I wanted to ask you, so you're one of the people who directly developed this app yourself. Have you always been an app developer? Have you been an IT person all your life? So, you know, what are some of the challenges that you experienced even while creating this app?
Okay, thank you. My background is not in IT. I'm agriculturist. And I have I did crop production and horticulture at the university, and you know we have African saying that says if you want to go fast, you go alone, but if you want to go far, you go with others. So I don't know how to develop. Mm-hmm. I have developers, mm-hmm. So I just conceive and I approach developers to develop this app for us.
Okay, great. And what would you say is the future of the Nchike app? Are you planning to maybe start up other apps that should help other people, or you know, not necessarily the genocide survivors, and maybe that can help deal with other problems that the people in Rwanda are facing so far?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, as I said, for 100 days we'll be helping elder survivors of genocide. Mm-hmm. But after 4th July, what we'll be doing, we'll be helping veterans, so that we can help them, mm-hmm. to give back to the community. This is something as young entrepreneurs we are doing to give back to the community.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for coming to the show, and we wish you all the best.
You're
and hope
welcome.
People will actually donate towards your cause.
An interesting story there. Fidelis always has those rare, special ones.
Definitely a great homegrown solution there.
Absolutely. You're watching Rise and Shine Weekly Review Show. Let's take a look back at the week that was in sports with Arnold Quizera.
Okay, we had some interesting sports stories this week, from the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals to our local volleyball team getting ready for Africa Zone 5 competition. Please tell us more, Regis. I obviously don't know what I'm talking about.
UEFA, that was interesting. The national volleyball team is in camp as they step up preparations for the African Zone 5 Championships to be held in Rwanda. Arnold caught up with the squad as they took part in a gym session at the National Stadium Amahoro. Check it out.
The volleyball team will aim to go 3 years in a row when Rwanda hosts the annual Zone 5 volleyball tournament this year. With the Zone 5 Championships slated for Kigali early next month, the national volleyball team have hit the ground running, and an 18-man squad is in camp training for this championship. With a few notable absentees in the 18-man squad currently undergoing residential training, the national team coach Paul Bitok has set his sights on some new faces to maintain momentum in the squad.
Compared with other years, Rwanda have new faces in the team. In fact, it is more than 60%. This is because of the injuries that we got at the course of the season. We don't have Christopher Mukunzi, who got injured in Turkey. We have also some players who are in the team, but they are still undergoing treatment. This is Lawrence Yagan, who is a captain now. We have also Marsha, who is also injured by the arm. We have also Imable, who is injured during the competition in African Club Championship in Tunis. And this is why we have the crisis, and we have promoted junior players like Ive, we have Cavallo, we have Nelson now coming up very well after undergoing 6 months training in Japan. I believe we have now a different team, not like last year.
The absence of Captain Christophe Mukunzi has opened way for APR's Lawrence Guma to skipper the new look side.
I expect a lot from these boys. They are young boys, but they are catching up with the training. The training we are doing right now, they are coming up with it. So I believe that we can do something better in this championship.
As hosts and defending champions, one would expect the team to feel the pressure, but some of the experienced heads in camp think otherwise.
No, you know, normally this game is a game of teamwork. It's a game of 6 people, it's not a game of an individual person. So when we work as a team, we can still cover up for the players who are injured.
Nuba nashidikanyije usibye ibishobora kubaho muri sport nta kibazo twagombye kugira ngo dutsindira competition. Amakipe giye cyane nayo n'amakipe tuzi n'amakipe dusanzwe dukina muri rusange kandi tumaze igihe tuyatsinda. Iyo ni afite ikibazo kuri twebwe ntabwo ari twe dufite ikibazo kuri bo baradutinya ko tumaze igihe tubatsinda. Rero ndumva nk'igihugu mu Rwanda nka equipe y'u Rwanda nta kibazo dufite ko dushobora gutwara competition ya gatanu.
The team is scheduled to depart next week for a 4-game friendly against Cameroon, and the Kenyan tactician thinks this will be enough preparation for the squad.
We are the senior players who have good experience. They have played in different countries as professional players, but because of the injuries. So now we are coming back again for the junior. And the only thing for these guys to reach another level, they must play many friendly matches before the competition. Otherwise, we will have a problem of experience from the players.
Volleyball has been one of the few success stories in Rwandan sport recently, and hosting of the African Zone 5 Championships will be a stunning test to these credentials. Arnold Kwizera, Rise and Shine, Rwanda.
All right, Arnold, so what are the chances of our team in the Zone 5 Championship?
I think, one, a home team is always a home team, and Rwanda playing in front of their buoyant home crowd. Volleyball attracts a lot of people. For people who have been going for games, I've been lucky to go for some league games, APR playing, Inatech playing, Rayon Sports playing. Volleyball attracts a very strong crowd. But then when you look at the region, Rwanda has beaten Kenya for the past 2 years, and Kenya will say are the strongest opponents in the region. But the current crop of Kenyan team, they have maintained their team from last year, including 3 professional players that play in the European leagues. And I think that will give an advantage to the Kenyan team, being that they are more experienced than this current crop of Rwanda national team. 4 starters. Don't forget, in volleyball, it's a 6-man sport. So 4 of Rwanda's starting 6 are not available for this tournament. And so that's why you see the likes of Eve have been called in, who are junior players. Some injuries for the national team, again, the current crop of national team, including Vincent Kasongo. You were asking about him a few days back. He plays for Inatech. He's a very hot-tempered player, but one of the most reliable attackers we have in camp. Adolphe is in camp, Adolphe Mutoni, who is also one of the most experienced players Rwanda has to offer. And the team are lucky that they got a friendly. They're going to Cameroon for 1 week to play 4 matches against the Cameroon national team to prepare them for the Zone 5. Coach, when I talk to Coach Bitok, he feels like the competition may again come from Kenya and the Ugandan teams. The Ugandan Army side lost to APR in the Army qualifiers, and the big bulk of the current crop of national team are APR players, including the captain himself, who we talked to, Lawrence Guma. So I think it will be a tight contest, but Rwanda being the home team, I think they will outweigh the nerves and go on to get the coveted 3-peat title.
Volleyball on the rise, definitely.
Absolutely. One of the sports where the federation is actually working hard. I like that. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Well, we've had some fascinating people on the show this week, and we've profiled lots of people doing great things in the community here in Rwanda. For this week's news feature, we had journalist Andrew Mwenda to discuss a topic that has been trending on social media for the past few weeks since His Excellency President Paul Kagame's press conference. We started by asking him his thoughts on what he thought the president said about 2017.
First of all, I know that President Paul Kagame believes that he should retire in 2017. I know that he wants the constitution to be respected and term limits upheld. But if you sample the people of Rwanda, you'll find that there is a large upsurge of opinion that the president should stay beyond 2017. You should ask yourself why. I think that the vast majority of Rwandans, I can even guess more than 90%, are extremely anxious. They suffer extreme bouts of anxiety when they hear that there's going to be a political transition in 2017. Why? You just need to look at the history of this country. This country has been unable, of any other country I know in the world, it has been unable to manage political transitions. The first transition that was attempted in 1959-62 precipitated a genocide. Then in 1972-73, there was a second genocide. It led to a military coup. Then 1994, there was another transition. It also came at the footsteps of a genocide. If you have a country and a population that have gone through genocide at every step of an attempted transition, you can understand why the vast majority of the people of Rwanda don't want a transition in 2017. So the debate really should not be on what the Constitution says. It should be on the fundamentals. What are the things that are necessary for Rwanda to have in place for it to have a transition from one president to another, from one government to another, without precipitating political catastrophe and violence.
Andrew, there you talked about people being very anxious about the transition, but the examples of governments you've given didn't have strong institutions in place. Do you feel this current regime has put in place institutions that are strong enough to guarantee a peaceful transition come 2017?
You see, a political system operates at two levels. One, it operates on the reality. The second, it operates on its citizens' perception of that reality. I think that Rwanda has strong institutions that can manage a transition very well. The problem Rwanda faces is that the population does not believe so.
Is that a weakness in itself?
Well, while the population may be out of step with the reality, its fears are understandable because they are rooted in history. You see, what we are talking about is rooted in objective reality. But the population's fears are rooted in its history, its experience. Therefore, if you try to force a transition in 2017, you are likely to precipitate either many people running out of the country or even to precipitate instability. I'll give you an example in markets, on the stock market. A company can be solid or a bank can be solid, but if you create a perception and a belief that this bank is not solid and people make a run on that bank, or people begin dumping their stock, the stock will collapse, or the bank will itself become insolvent. So you have to be very careful in a country that has gone through the kind of history, tragic history that Rwanda has gone through. You have to be very careful how you handle transition. And my own view was that Rwanda needs to look at four things. One, Rwanda needs a demographic transition, first and foremost, before a presidential transition. And by that I mean that you need to have a large majority of the adult population of Rwanda being people who were born after 1994, who enjoy emotional distance away from the events of 1994. Two, you need an income transition. You need to have Rwandans reach a per capita income of about $2,700.
So what you're saying 2017 is not the right time for President Kagame to leave?
I told you that it may be the right time objectively, but not the right time subjectively. In other words, if you were to look at the objective reality, yes, it may be the right time. If you were to look at the subjective beliefs of the people of Rwanda, it's not the right time.
Now, I'm going to bring up a point that has gotten a lot of people tense, and that is foreign press, international press, Westerner press, where they have this critic that comes up all the time about if President Kagame stays in power, then there's no difference than other countries in Africa or all over the world, countries that do not respect their democratic institutions, and so on and so forth. The president clearly said in a press conference in the Jeune Afrique piece that he does not believe opinions from outside should matter when this concerns Rwandans, and you so eloquently put it that we've had a history that's so different from other countries. Now, come 2017, in the balance, should the international pressure be applied in our judgment as Rwandans, or should just Rwandans basically, you know, think about what's best for Rwandans and just go from there?
I'm not sure you're quoting the president right. I don't think you can say that the international opinion doesn't matter. I think international opinion does matter, but the most important opinion that matters the most, of course, is the opinion of the people of Rwanda. Right. So I think that Rwanda should listen to international friends and what they have to say on this matter, but the ultimate decision must be made by Rwandans because nobody else understands the situation in Rwanda better than the people of Rwanda. In fact, they should also add that those to be most affected by this decision should have the highest say, should carry a 90% weight on that decision. Because assuming I am to make a decision about your marriage, and remember in your marriage you have kids and there are so many consequences that happen with the divorce. And you're not part of the marriage. I'm not part of the marriage, and you ask me as an expert to tell you whether you should remain in your marriage or not. Really, my opinion can only be of less weight compared to the opinion of the partners in that marriage. Now, the children, the husband and the wife.
Andrew, you talked about something in your recent article, in the Last Word article. You talked about something, if President Kagame leaves power in 2017, Rwanda's economic growth will slow down.
I do not say will. There is a risk that it will slow down. Why? President Kagame enjoys such overwhelming legitimacy and popularity based on historical circumstances, which allows him to take certain decisions and push people to particular directions with such forcefulness and effectiveness that nobody else has. If the president said, okay, you Andrew Mwenda, you're old man of the clan, you succeed me, my first responsibility is to consolidate my own position, to begin to win the support of other elites and have to trade favors. Right. For me to trade those favors, I have to allow corruption, I have to allow certain things. I believe that...
Again, doesn't that go back to the lack of strong institutions?
It is not lack of strong institutions. It is simply that President Kagame is the founding leader of the current situation in Rwanda. And no one can rival him in terms of legitimacy and popularity. And that popularity and legitimacy are a political resource from which Rwanda draws a lot of its performance. Now, of course, institutions in Rwanda are there, but institutions are built over a period of time. The building of institutions is a process, not an event. President Kagame cannot say, let there be good institutions in Rwanda, and they are there. They grow. If you asked me, if the institutions of Rwanda are supposed to be here, from here, where are they now? They could be in the middle, they could be 70%, whatever it is, institutions grow over time.
I wish we could go on forever. This is something, you know, I've been wanting to have, Arnold has been wanting to have with you, this talk with you. It's great to pick your brain.
I hope you'll be back here
I hope you'll be back soon.
It's been a great pleasure for me to be with you guys.
Andrew Mwenda, they are very insightful, I think that's one of the best interviews, if not the best, we've had on the show, right?
Definitely, it was a good time. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back with a look at this week's lifestyle story.
Connect to Lusaka 3 times a week starting 27th March. Enjoy comfort and safety at affordable fares to 17 other destinations across Africa and the Middle East.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
They say music is life, and one organization is planning on using sound to convey some powerful messages to the masses. Isho Arts Center has plans to create what they call cathedrals of sound all over the country. Earlier this week, I visited them to find out more about this upcoming project. Take a look. Established back in 2006, Isho Arts Center is the brainchild of artist Carol Caramera and a group of her colleagues, and is an ambitious organization that promotes art and culture in Rwanda.
Isho Arts Center is a local organization. We're an NGO trying to promote contemporary arts in Rwanda and make culture available for everyone. So we do training for professional artists, we do creation, production, we do advocacy work for the development of culture in Rwanda, and we try to play the role that Rwanda is already playing, is to be a bridge, a culture bridge between the past, the present, the future, and between Central Africa and East Africa.
Their latest project, entitled We Call It Love, involves music and intends to spread sound all over the country.
So We Call It Love is to try to discover this part of humanity in all of us, and to show the light and not only the dark side of the past. So we have 3 different levels. The first one was a show for little children from 4 years old to teach them how to think about the genocide, and because they feel everything. They feel that we are missing people in the city, in the country, and we try to see how we can work with this new generation and let them know what happened in the past. The second part is it's a dialogue between a woman who choose to give all the love that she had for her lost ones to the person who needs it the most, the person who killed her loved ones. And the last part is the biggest one. It's an installation, a multidisciplinary installation, mixing videos and sound. So we are trying to do a cathedral of sound to explore the Rwandan memory, but the musical, the sound of the nature, the voice, the words. And we would like to have this cathedral of sound moving all around the country. And I would like to see Rwandans coming in for 30 minutes, 2 hours, even sleeping in it, and listen to other people's memories or new memories that we're trying to do for the next generation, or maybe some music that we forgot. Some sounds from the past, really, because we work with 4 different generations of artists on that project, to see that memory on Rwanda is not only tunable. And Rwanda exists for more than 1.5 million years. So this is something that we try to recall and say that if we cherish that memory, if we transmit it, if we don't talk, if we just keep silence, and if we continue to cherish the unsaid, the future of Rwanda won't be so bright. So we're trying to help people to think about that and see if 21 years later we can have a different relationship with our own memory.
The group of artists involved in the project comprises of a mixture of experienced musicians and up-and-coming artists, all looking to make a mark on Rwandan culture.
It's about memory, so I like it. There's a part that will be saying the memory of the future. It's kind of abstract, but I like it because it's about telling the future, telling our kids what we want to tell them, and I really like abstract things. I really enjoy it.
I can give what I think could build the lives of people out there, because there's a therapy in remembering. There's a therapy in keeping the memory of those we loved, of everything we met on the way, on our ways. So for me, I think I'm going to help people to think about their future, but through thinking the past.
I'm a part of it, first of all, because it's about Rwanda, and it's about the genocide, and it's about peace, because as we remember, we are rebuilding our peace in our society. So as a Rwandan artist, I just have to use my arts to be part of Rwandan peace. Yeah.
The project is slated to begin this summer, and by the looks of this rehearsal, it's something not to be missed. Makeda Mahadio, Rise and Shine Rwanda.
All right, Makeda, that's a great report.
Thank you.
So what's the aim like? I mean, what are they trying to accomplish?
So basically what it is, it's they want to make, like she said, cathedrals of sound. And I think by that she means, you know, different places around the country where you can go in and you'll hear all of the music that this group has prepared. And it's music that's supposed to be focused on, you know, the past and not just the genocide, but, you know, even long before the genocide. And it's focusing on culture, it's focusing on where we are now, in the future, like you heard them singing about what we would want our kids to know and different things like that. And it's just supposed to be an overall experience, like installations all over the country.
Now, when you say experience, I mean, when you go there, what are you expecting to see or what may happen? Are you going to stay over?
From what I understand, it's that, so when I say installation, I mean like there'll be different lights around and I suppose some pieces of art and things like that, and you'll be hearing the recordings of what they've prepared. So they've been actually planning this thing since January, and it's slated to start in July. And they've just been kind of putting things together, getting the ideas out there, and planning on, you know, how the things are going to look, how they're going to make them laid out and things like that. And they're putting a lot of thought into it. So I'm definitely excited for what's going to be happening. And as you can see, the group of people is quite an eclectic group of people. There are people that we've profiled here. As you saw, there was Micah Ihura, there was Mani Matan, there was Iadede. Yeah, so a lot of you know, it's a great mixture of people. There's new people, there's people who are quite experienced. As you see, there was a little bit of training happening as well. So, you know, it's something that I think, since there's so many voices involved, it's going to be something really powerful. And I love the fact that, you know, they're involving younger people people who have something to say, you know. So
and that the youth can relate to. That's pretty good. But is it just music, or is it more than just music?
Well, the focus is on the sound. It's cathedrals of sound. So
it could be humming, for example.
Well, it's going to be, I think, songs. I mean, from what I gathered, because it's still in the making.
It's in the process.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's going to be, I think, different sounds. So I think there's might be humming, and you know, I think it's going to be just whatever they come up with. I think we're going to have to wait and see what it's going to be. But I think it's going to be something definitely very exciting, something new, something we haven't seen before, and something like all art is supposed to do, something that's going to evoke emotions and feelings out of people. So it's something that I'm definitely looking forward to. And I love Isho for that. Isho always has, you know, innovative ways of bringing culture and art to the people. So it's something definitely to look out for.
July it is. I cannot wait.
Definitely.
What are your best reports? Those cathedrals are going to be really interesting.
Yes, definitely. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Don't forget, we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. Like us on Facebook and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows that the reports we do daily. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We'd love to see your pictures. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We'd love to hear your feedback, so do let us know if you have an idea for the program. You've been watching the weekly review edition of Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Makeda Mahario. We'll be back here, same time, same place on Monday, so please do join us then. But for now, from the both of us and the rest of the Rise and Shine team, have a great day and an even better weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.